In 6.3 practical I can send to the end user, means send to some other email ID also, but in 7 version I cannot show that one. So first of all I will show the configuration in 6.3, then I will show it in 7 version also. Okay, so basically in order to send the notifications, first of all we have different types of notifications are there, like email notifications, fax, mail and text. Okay, so 4 types will be there, but in the real time we will only use the email notifications in the applications. Okay, other types like fax, post and SMS, okay, we will not use SMS. Some third party applications they can configure, no need to use within the PEGA PRPC, so they can purchase some third party applications will be there, so they will configure them. Okay, in real time they will only use the email notifications in applications. Okay, so basically 4 types will be there. Email, mail is post by post, we will never use that one. Fax and SMS. Okay, in order to configure these email notifications, we need to configure few rules in the application. So those rules are, first we have to configure correspondence rule, then we have to configure work parties, outbound email, and finally from assignment in the flow diagram, from assignment shape, from assignment shape properties we have to configure this notification message. Okay, so these are the steps we have to configure in order to add notifications and send notifications to the end users. Okay, so for example, coming to this, first of all, correspondence rule. Correspondence is used to add a message. So what is the notification message we are going to send to the user, end user? So that message we can add inside the correspondence rule. Okay, in order to add a message, we'll use the correspondence rule, and it comes under the process rule type. So we have this correspondence. Okay, under correspondence also these 4 types you will get: email, mail, fax and SMS. When you select email option, you will get the message box. There we can define the message. So what is the message we need to send to the end user? So that message will add inside the correspondence rule. Next is work parties. So in the work parties, so we'll define the roles. Okay, actually PEGA will have some predefined roles for that. Means who is the what is the role of the recipient and what is the role of the sender. Okay, so who is the recipient and who is the sender? So those roles in PEGA format we have to configure. Okay, so here in PEGA terms we used to call as work parties. So both the party roles we have to define inside the work parties. Okay, who is sender and who is recipient, and in PEGA format and in class format we have to configure inside work parties. Okay, so some roles will be there, predefined roles in PEGA. We used to call them as party roles, and for every role we have something called party class. Predefined party class will be there. Okay, so for example, who is sending the mail? So those are called as originator. The role will be originator. Okay, means that is who is sending the mail. Okay, recipient means who receives the mail, they are called as person. Okay, and for this originator we have some predefined class. Data fn party fn operator is the class name, and for person data fn party fn person is the class name. Okay, so these roles we can define. So these roles are common every time. Okay, once after defining these work parties, and this also comes under the process only. Under the process rule type we will define these work parties, and finally, so actually this outbound email configuration setup will be only done once. Okay, so here's the what is the originator id, so we'll set up in the outbound email. Okay, so here we'll try some gmail id or something. Okay, in real time they'll configure a email address for that application, like some help@hdfc.com or something. So what are the email id from id they want to configure, so they'll configure the email id and add inside this outbound email. So we'll configure now. So from integrations we can configure, or from integration resources also we can configure. Okay, so first of all I'll show one process in 6.3. Okay, so this one will configure from the designer studio menu, will configure. Okay, so we'll see, we have to, while defining this outbound email, we need to enter the email id, password, host name, then port number. Okay, so this information we need to give, and we need to connect to the email server. Okay, whether it is Gmail or Yahoo or Hotmail or anything, we need to connect to the email server. If it is connected successfully, we will get a success message. If it is not connected, means it will show the fail message. If it is success, means then only we can send the notification message. So that one also we have to configure. And finally, from the flow, so generally, and for each assignment we can configure one notification message. Okay, so only one notification message we can configure for each assignment. Okay. So we have to configure in any assignment. We can, if there is a requirement for 3 or 4 assignments in a single flow, in individually we can configure a separate message under each and assignment properties. Okay. So whenever we get a requirement, like within this, suppose if we give some condition, based on condition we have some different connectors, so it is going different outputs are there. For all the outputs we can configure a separate notification message. Okay. So we'll see how to configure this setup and everything. Okay. So first of all we'll 6.3 version, because here I can show how to send it also. So in the first step we will create a correspondence rule. Okay, so click on, okay, click under this class will configure. So I click on class process correspondence. Okay, give the type of correspondence, click on open. Okay, inside this box, so what are the message we are going to send to the end user, that message we can configure. So next we will configure work parties. Okay, actually here use the launch option. For you it will directly you will get the plus symbol. So okay, in my system due to IE issue, I need to open the launch window. Just it will open in a new window. Okay, same options here. So click on, okay, in the label type originator. Under the class data -, party -, operator is the class name. Here you can give person or any name you can provide. Data -, party -, person with name. Save this work party. Next we will configure outbound email. Okay, from Designer Studio, integration, email, outbound email. Okay, I'm going to create some new connection. Okay, click on add a new connection. Work pool name is your class structure name we have to give. So not a subclass, only parent class name we have to give. Okay, email address, so existing only we have to give, not a new one. You can give an ID. Give password. Okay, host name. Okay, if you use Gmail here, smtp.gmail.com. If you use Yahoo, smtp.mail.yahoo.com. and port number 465 for SMTP. Okay, it is common for Yahoo also 465. Click on secure, click on save option. Okay, if you get a success message, okay, it is successfully connected to Gmail server. Now from this Gmail account, this is the from address. Okay, so here is from this recipient we can send it to any sender. Okay, so notification message, under which assignment properties we configure the notification message, we can send to any sender now. Then just we open any flow. Okay, so actually based on condition you can add any what are the result and what flow you have to do, what flow action you have to do. So generally assignment shape properties, we have notification tab will be there. So go to this notification tab, under the notify, select notify as a function. Now under these parameters, give this name, correspondence name, and party role. So in the party role means nothing but the work party role we have set as person. Okay, give that one. Okay, give any subject. Okay, click on OK. Okay, you get a message like this. If notification is added for any page, you will get this message. Now from the process tab we have to give some start settings, create a new work object, and work parties we defined that the work party name we have to add in the process tab. We have given the name as ABC and this work party name. Okay, now save this flow. Okay, in the real time is from the what is the email ID given by the end user will get. So to that ID only notification will be sent. Here we need to manually to test whether it is sending or not. I need to manually give the name and email ID here. Okay, whether it is working or not in the developer environment. So execute this flow, run this flow. Okay, so to the person I'm going to send. Okay, give me your email. Anyone tell your email ID. Okay, anyone give your email ID. Okay. Okay, click on create. It will open the flow. Just what are the details you want to submit the form. Okay, so you will receive message within 1 minute like this. Okay, once check the notification message if you receive. Okay, so like this, so you can configure the what are the message now. Outbound email is common. Okay, For this application, outbound email is common, and for a single flow, work party is common, and every time the correspondence message will change. Okay, the correspondence message will change based on the what are the correspondence message you are going to send to the end user, what are the message you are going to send to the end user. So for each page and for each under every assignment the correspondence message only will change. Okay, so like this we can configure in personalization. For real time also same process. Okay, you received the mail, right? Okay, so in 6.3 I can send to the end user, because in the server, personalization server supports the notifications, but same thing if I configure in 7, okay, it will work, but in personal edition 7 version it is not working. Now we'll move to the 7 version now. Okay, so these are few changes and differences in 6.7. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, and not only from this option, we can also send notifications from the activity also. From activity rule also we can configure these notifications. Okay, for that I will tell you I will show the steps in 7 version for this. Okay, see, generally, so configuring the work party name, configuring outbound email. Okay, outbound email also I will show the other way in 7 version. Suppose if you configure work party, outbound email and correspondence message, so instead of configuring that in a flow from the assignment shape settings, we can configure first of all from the activity role. Okay, inside activity generally we use methods in order to configure anything. Okay, apart from the methods, PEGA will also have some predefined activities also will be there. Okay, some scenarios we can also use in the applications. Okay, apart from the existing predefined methods, we will have predefined activities with different types of methods. Okay, predefined activities will be there with the different types of methods inside that. Okay, there can be 5 methods, 10 methods based on the activity. Okay, so for this sending email notifications also, we have one activity, predefined activity. The activity name is send simple email. Send simple email is the name of that activity, so which is already predefined in the server. So anytime if you want to send notifications, you can also use this activity. And how to use the predefined activities inside the activity rule. Okay, inside activity, how to use another activity. For that we will use a method called call method. Okay, so there is a method called call method. Using this method we can call any existing predefined activities or our own user defined activities. Okay, from this method we can call any predefined activities or user defined, means what are the activities we are defining inside the application. So from the technical category those activities, not only user defined, predefined activities also we can call here. Okay, so after the call, when you take the method name, give space and enter the name of the activity. Enter the name of that activity. Okay, just I will show the steps for this, but I cannot send the notification message in 7. And adding correspondence and adding work parties procedure is same. Okay, email setup and email configuration I will show Another way, from integration resources email account, one option will be there. So from that option also we can configure this email IDs. The outbound ID we can also configure from integration resources email account, one option will be there. From there also we can configure those things. Actually, while working between these two versions, for 6.3 we need to add compatibility settings. And just one thing, while if you install 6.3 also, see, previously if you want to open the login page of 6.3, we need to add the localhost to the website option. Then only it will open the login page. Okay, but for 7 it is not required. We have to remove the localhost. It is already predefined in the server. We need to remove localhost for the 7 version. Okay, but for 6.3 we have to add the localhost. Now remove the option localhost here and uncheck this option. So for 6.3 we have to enable the internet settings, and for 7 version uncheck disable the internet settings. Okay. So these settings are already given in the server itself. So in the while using this 7 version, disable these settings, but when we work on 6.3 we need to enable them. Once again, okay, click on login. Okay, creating correspondence is same, no change. From the process correspondence email option, you will define the message, and work part is also same, no change. Okay, I will show the other way of, okay, from Designer Studio generally integration email, outbound email will create the email account. Okay, this is one way. Okay, so now instead of adding, okay, generally we can add a new connection and we can configure this account. Okay, instead of this, but if you try to add from a different process also, automatically it will update in the outbound email also. Okay, even if you are not directly adding the connection from here, so after adding the connection from the different process also, it will update in the add in this integration outbound email option. So right now close this one. Okay, suppose if you want to use only in particular class names, so right click on sample, or you can also create inside the parent class if you want to use throughout the application, or else I will try to create in a subclass, but we will never use the integration manual settings. So these are all the manual process. Okay, maximum we'll use the Designer Studio integrations only. From integration resources rule type, we have option called email account. Open this one. So the from ID we are going to configure here. Email ID, SMTP, okay, port number 465, and once again give the user ID, email ID, click on set password, next enable this SSL security option, then click on save. Okay, same thing. So from the resources, from email account we will give the options. Now just click on test connectivity. If it gives the success, like all the options, if it gives success, then it is connected successfully. Okay, here it is showing the list of steps. Established connection is established successfully, and connect to the server and disconnected successfully. Okay, if you get all the results as success, so it is connected successfully and disconnected from the server. Okay, so now if you open the Business Studio, it will update here also automatically. Okay, see the difference between this Business Studio and this email account is, okay, manually at it, here we can configure only one account in the this Business Studio, but if you try to create here from integration resources email account, we can configure multiple accounts. Okay, so one after another. If you want to configure one more outbound email, okay, generally in this access group it will support here only one, but we can configure from the resources here. Excuse me, we can configure from the resources. Okay, so just to try to, if I try to add one more ID, okay, previous version personal edition it will not support, I didn't check in the latest one. Just try to add one more ID and let me know by tomorrow whether it is supporting, because I didn't check in 7 version. Previous version means it will not support actually, so directly adding one more connection after adding one connection, it will not support. Okay, once check in the, okay, I think okay, I will try to check here. Give me 1 second. Taking away this mail. I'll wait for some time, it's loading now. Okay, so meanwhile let me take it. Okay, meanwhile we'll see so how to open this activity, predefined activity from the existing activity. Okay, I will create this one also. So meanwhile it will not load another rule. Okay, give the work class name. Give me 1 second, I need to check the ID. Give me a minute. Give me 1 second, I need to check the password for this. 1 second, give me a minute. So it is not allowing to add one more ID in the personal edition actually. Okay, so from the outbound email we cannot configure. Let me check with the email resources and account, email account. Okay, from here actually we can configure only one ID in the previous version also, and this version also it is allowing only one ID here. Okay, I will try to add it from the resources and email account. gmail.com. Okay, save this rule. Now click on test connections. Okay, see, it is not establishing a new connection from the same ID. Okay, personal assistant is only allowing one ID to configure. Okay, so generally this using a integration resources email account, we can configure multiple IDs also, but in the personal assistant is allowing only one email account to configure. Okay, suppose if you add multiple email accounts, it will also update in the business studio also. Okay, so right now personal edition we can only configure one email account, but in enterprise edition we can configure multiple accounts. Okay, it is not allowing you to configure a new email account in the integration resources also. Okay. Now coming to this activity here, if we want to use any predefined activities, just take method as call method. Okay, give space, click on down arrow. Okay, you can see type send simple. Okay, you can see one activity name here, send simple email. Okay, if you expand this method, so call method, if you expand, automatically the methods under this activity also will be displayed. Expand this method, and so what are the method parameters we have for this activity, for this existing activity? So it will show here what are the method parameters for this. So to address means, so the who is the recipient address. Okay, we have to give subject. Okay, any simple custom message if you want to give, you can give in the message option, or else if you want to add correspondence message means you can configure here, and you can configure directly this activity inside the flow action also, we can configure. Okay, instead of adding this one in a flow diagram, you can configure this message inside a flow action rule. Okay, not inside a flow. You can also configure this activity inside a flow action also, we can configure, or in a flow if you want to add means from the utility shape we have to configure. Okay, so this is one way. So this, using this method also, using this existing activity also, we can send notification messages. Okay, so but practically I cannot send it in 7 version. Okay, same process, there is no difference. Okay, so did I cover the screen flows in this version? Screen flow types. Did I cover the differences between the flows, like water process flows and water screen flows? Did I cover? Okay. Okay, next we will see the flow types. Okay, see under these flow types, and till now what are the flows we are working, right? So all the flows are process flows. See, what are the flows we are opening from the case level? So those flows comes under process flows. Okay, whenever we open a flow from the step, okay, we'll define the stages in a case, and under that we will have some steps. Okay, in the steps we'll give the name of the flow, and whenever we open a flow from the case, all the flows will be process flows. We cannot create a screen flow directly from the case configuration. Okay, whenever we open a new flow from the case, all the flows comes under process flows only. Okay, and the other names for this process flows is, we can also call them as starter flows, straight through flows, main flows. Okay, and other type of flows is screen flows, or we can also call them as sub flows. Okay, see the flows, shapes and all, everything is common, but the behavior of the few shapes will be different. Okay, and how to create the screen flow and how to create a process flow means, so both are created from the process rule type only, and both are saved under the process rule type only, but there will be small change while creating the or while opening this flow. See, directly if you go to process and if you open the flow, if you give the name and if you click on open, by default it will be process flow. Once again I will show you. If you go to process rule type, if you click on flow, okay, here if you give any name and if you click on open means, then it becomes a process flow. And from the same page we can also create screen flows also. From the same page we can also configure screen flows also, but only difference between while creating these flows is, so there will be some template will be there under the this, while giving the name of the screen flow some template settings will be there. While giving that settings we need to select the type as screen flow. Okay, template for screen flow we have to select. Give me 1 second. Okay, this flow is currently we opened is process flow. Similarly, if you want to open a screen flow, same from the same rule type you will open a flow. Okay, I'm giving a name. Now if you click on open means, again it becomes a process flow only. But if you want to create a screen flow means, click on this additional settings. Under this additional creation options, under the template, select the template option as standard template for screen flows. Under this template, select the option as standard template for screen flows. Okay, if you select this option, by default the flow comes under screen flow. Okay, if you click on open, now this flow comes under the screen flow. And previously, without giving the template, if you create open a flow means, it becomes a process flow. Okay, but how to identify means, okay, directly by seeing you cannot identify whether it is a process flow or screen flow. Okay, if you open this flow like this and if you open the screen flow like this, by seeing this page we cannot identify directly. Okay, by seeing the shape properties we can identify. Okay, generally by seeing the sorry, which one? Okay, like that by label, that is the label, right? Okay, yes, flow one. Okay, like this we can identify, but I'm telling about, so forgot about the label. Label is given by us only, right? But directly if you open the flow here, and then generally for the screen flows by default it will be like perform task. Okay, so generally only way it to identify whether it is screen flow or process flow. So these names are given by us only. Okay, whether if you don't give a correct template or correct label for this, then without giving the name, if you want to identify whether it is a process flow or screen flow means, by default the name will be perform task in the screen flows. This is also assignment shape only, but the default label will be perform task. Or else if you open any assignment shape properties or this connector properties, by seeing them also we can identify it as a screen flow or process flow, because so the behavior of the assignment shape in process flow will be different and the behavior of the assignment shape in screen flow will be different. See, generally in process flow, if you open this assignment settings or this connector settings, see, generally in a process flow, in the connector settings we will give the function name. But if you take a screen flow, the same assignment, if you open this connector settings, the settings will be blank. Okay, generally in screen flows we need to call the flow action from the assignment shape itself. From the assignment shape properties only we will have this flow action name. Okay, and directly from the assignment settings flow action we have to call the flow action name. Okay, this is one different. Again, apart from this, some other differences and some other things which we cannot do in the screen flows is, okay, so like this we can create a screen flow from the process flow, but in the additional settings we have to select the option as standard template for screen flows. Okay, if you enable that option, then your flow becomes a screen flow. If you don't open the additional settings and if you directly click on open this, open the flow means, or create a flow means, it becomes a process flow. And other differences and what are the things when we will use excuse me. And other differences when we will use process flow and when we will use screen flow is, so in the name itself you can see process flows are starter flows and straight through flows. So the meaning is, so starter means, okay, the opening flow will be process flow. Okay, so the main flow or the main architectural flow will be a process flow every time. And also another thing is straight through flows means, for example, we have series of pages defined inside a process flow. Okay, like assignment 1, assignment 2, assignment 3, some assignment 4. So like series of pages are defined in a flow. So then what happens, so whenever we submit any details in a form, okay, after clicking on the submit button, it will move to the second form. Like in each assignment we can add one form, right? In the form of flow action we can add separate forms in each assignment shape. So then what happens, if you submit the details in form 1, then it will submit. After submission it will move to the next form. We cannot go back to the previous page after once we submit the form in the process flows. So there will not be any back navigation will not be there in the process flows. Once we submit any form, it will jump to the next form only. Okay, and it will, after submitting the data in this form, it will jump to the next form. We cannot go back to form 1 or form 2 now. Okay, because these are straight through flows. Okay, such design if you want means, we can configure the design inside the process flows. But screen flows contains front and back navigation. So here also in screen flow also we can design the series of pages, but here screen flow contains front and back navigation. Means if you take the same design in the screen flows, or if you add the same design in a screen flows, okay, but while defining the flow action directly from the assignment shape properties only, we will call the flow action name, and directly in the assignment properties we will call flow action name, and here we will call the flow action name. Once I submit the form and move to the next form, I can again go back and check the previous form also. Okay, means both front and back navigation if you want means for a form, then the same design you will configure in screen flows, and where you want to add this particular design, right? Okay, so this design and this screen flow, then again you have to call inside a process flow. This design we have to call inside a process flow, because directly we cannot generate a work ID or work object for the screen flows. Compulsory any screen flow if we configure, we have to call that inside the process flow compulsory. Okay, and how to call means using sub process shape. Okay, we need to use sub process shape for calling sub flows or screen flows in a main flow or process flow. Okay, not only in the process flows also we can call in process flows. Okay, maximum we use three scenarios are there. Screen flows to screen flows also we can configure, but very rarely we will use. Generally we will call screen flows in process flows and process flows in process flows. Okay, so those two scenarios we use mostly in the real times, because there will have more number of flows will be there based on the structure, design, architecture. So there we can configure any number of screen flows and we can call them in a process flow. Wherever you want to add, we need to use a sub process shape for calling screen flows in the process flows. Okay, so that is one difference. And okay, the main thing is only advantage of screen flows is this front and back navigation is only the main advantage. Okay, and remaining design and remaining structures and all, like what are the things, other things we cannot do inside a screen flow means, what are the things we cannot do inside a screen flow means, we cannot use routing options inside screen flows, we cannot add notifications directly inside a screen flow, and we cannot work on integrations inside a screen flow. Okay, any of these things if you want to use means we have to configure inside a process flow only. Okay, routing or notifications or integrations we need to configure inside a process flows only. Okay, so these are the things only when we will use means. So most of the time if you want to design like a front and back navigation screens, if you want means we will configure inside a screen flows, and direct navigation, direct design straight through navigation if you want means we can configure in the process flows. And these tasks whenever you want to configure routing or notifications or integrations, again we will configure inside directly from the process flows only we will configure. Okay, tomorrow I will show it practically how to use the screen flow and how to design a screen flow and how to configure in a process flow. I will show it tomorrow session. Okay, any questions? Yes, tell me. Okay. Okay, you are not able to save the condition. Okay. Okay. Okay, is it if maybe once again delete the section, because what are the thing we defined inside that, what are the message we are giving in a section, same message it will display, right? So what you'll do is once again delete the section and try to add a message, add that message again. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay, what you are changing, in which condition, okay, in which rule you want to change? Generally you use the same rules, right? You can use. Okay. Okay. Okay, you, okay, open this screen. Okay, share your screen. Okay, I will share today end of the day I will share it. Yeah, I can see. Okay. Okay, the problem is the connector is not given properly. That is the main issue. So once delete the connectors from decision to assignment and from assignment to this one. And another thing is you didn't define the message. That message you didn't define in the flash connector settings. Okay. Okay. If flow action is there, it no no. If flow action is there, it will come in the drop down. Select the name. Yeah, just if you get any problem, just log off and log in. Issues will get resolved. Just server will. So only thing is any issues you are unable to just open anything or anything, just log out from the tool, and if you log in again, it will refresh the server temporarily. Then it will work properly. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. All these things will be covered. Okay, all the items means in integrations, everything manually will not configure anything. So directly from designer studio only all the options will be there. Okay, even though all the rules are there, so all the rules are from previous versions. Some options, every option will not use in the applications. Okay, so in the again apart from that, yeah harness yeah harness navigation skins will be default. Skins are predefined, we will not configure any new skins. Portal is already portal, we are in the portal only, so portal by default it will configure itself. And paragraph, if you want, we can manually configure any paragraph here. Navigation and harness will be there in the next sessions. So under the user interface we will configure navigation and harness. And controls, so controls means already controls are given in the PEGA, so no need to again create any new controls here. Okay, so you will get all the options. Yeah, we'll see tomorrow.